Says we are live.
The
GMX is not involved.
That's Atlanta camp. Yeah, we're live right now.
We are.
Yeah, we're live right now.
We are. Yes, on Bluetooth.
Okay. Hey, Shalom, Marcus.
Shalom.
Bob Kashab, for brothers, that can, so first and foremost, I'm going to say, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Kakadash Barakathon, to Joachim, if you can put on the comment board, if y'all can so I can hear us, just go ahead and go to the comment board, that'll be your pop. I'm the brother Taz Ahmad from the Great Millstone Dallas camp, and I'm here with the fellow priests, Kasha Kuala, Karatazah, and Zakaria. And we're just going to go through a lesson on integrity. Me and the priest was breaking bread earlier today. We was going in on 2 Samuel, the 18th chapter. And it was kind of crazy how we kind of got to this topic because, we was at the gym. And I had seen this, he perceived to be an Edomite, and he was just on the ground, and I didn't know if he was doing a push-up or if he was doing like some side lunges or anything, but he was just kind of just on the ground. He was old Edomite, and in my spirit, first off, I didn't know what he was doing, so I kind of just walked past him, and he was just sitting there, and in my mind, I'm like, man, should I go help this guy up? In my mind, man, it's an Edomite, man, fuck that, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But afterwards, in my mind, I'm like, man, just go help the guy up. You know what I'm saying? So I helped the dude up. He was old, he had like a cane. I just helped him up to help him get off the ground because he was stuck. But he didn't say anything. Like he wasn't asking nobody for help. Like people was just walking past and he wasn't saying, hey, could you help me up? He was just laying there, which that's how I kind of perceived he was Edomite because he seemed like he was too proud to ask for help.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But even if Edomite or not, you know what I'm saying? Like my spirit was still like, man, I'm just gonna help him up. Mm-hmm. It just goes back to having a sense of integrity about yourself, and just doing what's, I guess what's morally right for the time and the spirit, and then spirit kind of had it, whereas, we was going over 2 Samuel, the 18th chapter, and this is a good chapter because it goes into King David going against King David's army going against Absalom's army. But in particular with what happened, you had the integrity of one of David's servants that wouldn't kill Absalom, even though Joab told him to, and just kind of sparked different precepts throughout the day. And, we just decided to go into a lesson of integrity, but, can y'all got anything?
Yeah, I had a super quick precept if I can find it real quick. So like I can't find it, I'll just quote it. Mm-hmm. But I'm loosely paraphrasing. I think it's in Proverbs where it says, if you go with the Most High, even your enemy should be at peace with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the same. When we were in the gym, that's the same thing. I was kind of thinking of too, just now. Even though we perceived him to be Edomite, we just said, you know what? Screw it. Just help him out. You know what I'm saying? Even your enemy should be at peace with you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? When we helped him out, he was like, thank you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We sent him back on his machine to do whatever workout he was doing. He saw the change.
Proverbs 16:7.
Proverbs 16:7.
Mm-hmm. I can read it.
Come. Go ahead.
Proverbs 16:7 says, when a man's ways please Yahweh, mm-hmm. he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him.
It says, when a man's ways please Yahweh. Now, what pleases the Most High? By striving to be like the Most High, like Yahweh Shai said. Be there perfect like my Father is in heaven. We strive for the perfections and the masteries, you can say, and we try to perfect our craft and be a master builder, which Paul is speaking about in 1 Corinthians 3. Mm-hmm. Now, what pleases the Most High is us trying to emulate and be like him, okay? Mm-hmm. Be like his son, Yahweh Shai, all right? Because his son, Yahweh Shai, was keeping everything Yahweh told him to do. Mm-hmm. All right. So even if you're keeping the ways of the Lord, you're gonna be at peace with your enemies. Because what did Paul write in the book of Romans? If it be possible, leave. Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking that as I helped the guy up.
That's right.
That was one of the first thoughts. That was one of the first scriptures that came.
Exactly. And it says what? If it be possible, we have the chance to make it a possible thing to help. You have a chance to make it a possible thing to help the guy.
Mm-hmm.
It says, be at peace with all. It says, if possible, with all that lieth in you.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to bring it to your brink of, I just can't do this shit no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going past this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you just keep beating, like, okay, we're done here. I've tried every avenue of escape. I tried to exercise every wisdom-based type scripture, and I still can't have no peace with you. That's when you need to go to the book of Titus and be like, yo, just shut them away pretty much. But it says, all that lieth in you, be at peace with all men. And that's what we exercise today, you know, when we saw that Edomite. But we practice the ways of the Lord, which is mercy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Kind of. No, I mean that's pretty much, that's really it. You know what I'm saying? You just execute what's been written to the best of your ability. Because like even in my mind, you know, and we're gonna get back to the scriptures because that's the most important thing. You know, but even in my mind, it was just like, you know, I don't know if this man could be a Jake or not.
Yeah,
I don't know. But I'm just gonna, I mean, I'm just gonna help him up real quick. You know, so it was an older guy, you know, and he needed help.
Yeah, because if I could just say too, it could have been just a test from the Lord.
Yeah.
You know, the man could have been an angel for all you knew. You know, so hey, it could have just it's really just a test. That's why the scriptures tell us to matter of fact, can I bring out the precepts all the time? It's Romans 12:17. It says, recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. You know, so even if that guy, you know, could have been an Edomite, we still know through the scriptures what the judgment of Esau is going to be.
Exactly.
You know, so whether you know, you just that's why I said recompense to no man evil for evil.
Right.
Because we already know what Esau's judgment is. That's why you're not supposed to be out here, you know, bashing, you know, through your everyday walk, you know, just bashing every Edomite that you see, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. Actually,
I got a precept.
keep going on that.
Time, verse 18. Romans 12:18. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men.
Right. It says as much as lieth upon you, man. You know, it says be at peace. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. So that doesn't mean that, like you say, you go around, you just, you acting reckless and just rageful, and you see an Edomite and shit like, fuck you, Esau. You know what I'm saying? You over flinching at him and shit.
Yeah.
Man, you ain't supposed to do that. You know, there's a time and a place for everything, like it tells you in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter. But that's not showing. It's not showing good character at the end of the day. You know, go ahead.
Verse 18. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath.
Right, give place unto wrath, man. You got to keep yourself in check. You know, you got to keep your composure when it comes to getting mad, because you're not supposed to avenge yourself. Because the carnal thought and the fleshy thought came to my mind, like, man, fuck that Edomite. I ain't about to help him up. He's an Edomite. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to avenge myself, because at the end of the day, like you said, he's an Edomite. He's going to get destroyed anyway.
Right.
You know? It's just like walking in the grocery store and you see an Edomite walking in behind, you're going to slam the door behind you real quick, like, try to close it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
You know? Go ahead.
It says, for it is written, vengeance is mine. I will repay, saith the Lord.
Right. So what's the point of us trying to physically and carnally repay somebody else back? Like, you know, it is what it is. When the Most High said vengeance is of him, man. He's gonna be the one that's gonna be doing the repaying first.
We just the vessel.
Yeah, and then if we're of the elect, he's gonna use us as vessels to get down and get busy in that.
Right.
You know, go ahead.
Verse 20. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him.
You see, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. Go ahead.
It says, if he thirst, give him drink. For in doing so, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head.
Right. So you're not going to treat, and this really can kind of be tied into like the brotherhood, but you know, this you can kind of liken to that situation still. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't heap. If your enemy hungry, feed him. If he thirsts, give him water. For in doing that, it's like you're heaping hot coals on his head.
Yeah, because what the saying go, killing with kindness.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. You can finish off verse 21.
Verse 21. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good.
Right. You gotta overcome evil with just doing the right, just being doing the right thing, and just being a good person in the world, man.
Yeah.
You know, the Yahweh Shah said, you know, you're supposed to be as lights in the world. You know. Now I'm not sitting here saying like, you know, you're going to go to charity and start helping out these Edomites and doing all this. I'm not saying that. You know, but it was just at that given moment, at that given time, situation that took place. That was through the Spirit. That was the judgment that had to happen.
Yeah.
You know, so it just goes back to you know, having a sense of integrity or having a sense of character about yourself. You know, but yeah.
Yeah, I get it. This is Hebrews chapter 13-18. It says, "Pray for us. For we trust we have a good conscience in all things, willing to live honestly." So I just wanted to bring that out because the word conscience has been heavy on my conscience for, you know, a few days now. Well, like a day or so now. And the word conscience is synodesis in the Greek, which means to distinguish what's more than good and evil. You know what I'm saying? That's what the brother did in the gym today. He discerned in his mental. He made a judgment call, because that's what discernment is. It's making a judgment. All right, and it's your conscience doing that. All right. At first he was like, "Man, fuck this Edomite." You know what I'm saying? But then these things run through your mind: exercising mercy, patience, long suffering, all of these things. Man, let me just go help the dude up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the conscience kicking in, morally discerning. Also in Romans, the 2nd chapter, I think the 6th verse, it says, "Who renders according to every man's deeds." Okay, so it says, verse 19, "But I beseech you the rather to do this, that I may be restored to you the sooner." So if your conscience is clear and you have a good conscience about you, oh shoot, you're gonna be. I know this is Paul speaking, you know what I'm saying, but it's at the same time keeping the will of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai is going to be restored back to his rightful place sooner than we expect, like the scriptures do say. You know, I'll go get Second Samuel. First Samuel, Second Samuel.
You had that precept, Zachariah?
The Proverbs.
Yeah, we can read this first and then kind of segue into the issue with sin. Yeah, it's like Proverbs 22.
This is Proverbs 20 and verse 7. "The just man walketh in his integrity; his children are blessed after him."
It says, "The just man walketh in his integrity." Man, do you still have that word integrity?
I have.
Yeah, we can just get that word integrity, just to, you know, get what it means.
This is the etymology of the word integrity. It says 1400. It says innocence, blamelessness,
being blameless. Go ahead.
Chastity, purity. It says from Old English, integrite, or directly from Latin, integritatum. It says soundness, wholeness, completeness.
A soundness, wholeness, and completeness, man. Being complete and being filled with Yahweh Shai, man, and holding fast to your integrity, the things that are morally right. And that's why it says, the just man walketh in his integrity, in his wholeness, or in his pureness. It says, his children are blessed after him. That's why, you know, when the children of Israel, when Yahweh Shai returns and he puts the law, statutes, and the commandments in our inward parts, we're going to be filled with integrity, whereas we will never go off. And what's going to happen that when the 2/3 come back through our loins is that's why it says his children are blessed after him. They're literally going to be blessed with the spirit of Yahweh Shai on them and with the law, statutes, and commandments in them. You know?
I got the word just.
Kind of.
Con, it's the duck. If I'm pronouncing that right.
Tazadaq.
Con. All right, it's Tazadaq, and it says just, lawful, righteous. It says just, right, and one's cause, just, righteous, in conduct and character.
Character. That's another word. You know, your conduct and your character. You know, how are you? You know, how you gotta ask yourself all the time, like, how are you acting whenever the camera's off? You know, now granted, you know, we're not perfect. We're gonna mess up, but you know, we gotta strive to perfection to the best of our ability. Still, you know, what kind of character do you exhibit when the camera's off you, but when there's really the real cameras on you? You know what I'm saying? Like, Yahweh Shai's eyes is 10,000 times brighter than the sun. So it's like you really got eyes looking on you at all times. You got a monitor on you at all times. How are you conducting yourself? Are you conducting yourself in a just way or in a just manner? Or are you conducting yourself in a way of a nigga? You know what I'm saying? You got that.
Can you reread what the Proverbs real quick?
God, this is Proverbs 20 and verse 7. So like it says, the just man walketh in his integrity, his children are blessed after him.
That's right. And when you this is Proverbs, so Solomon. All right. So he said this. Now let's look on the other side of it. Okay. So it's Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and 18. It says, yeah, I hated all my labor which I had taken under the sun, because I should leave it unto that man that shall be after me. Verse 19, and who knoweth whether he shall be a wise man or a fool? Yet shall he have rule over all my labor, wherein I have labored, and wherein I have showed myself wise under the sun. This is also vanity. He's saying this is because, like, you got to even look at Solomon's time. He was a very wise king. Who came after him? Rehoboam, his son. And it all went to shambles. King Hezekiah, who came after him, his son, Manasseh. All his works went to shambles. All his labor under the sun. But like the brother was beautifully saying, Tazamar was beautifully saying, when these things are written in our inward parts, our integrity is going to be held sound, and it's just going to pass over to our kids. We don't have to worry about our labor under the sun being defiled in our seed. You know what I'm saying? It's just all part of keeping your blamelessness and just letting it go on to the next, which integrity is the blamelessness. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got it.
Kind of, man. It's not, you ain't gonna have to worry about teaching your children the law, statutes, and commandments. It's all gonna be in them.
The scriptures say we don't have to teach every man his labor. We don't have to go on the highways and byways no more to teach them about the righteousness and the mercies and all that about Yahweh Shem Yahushua. They gonna already know. You know what I'm saying? There's no need for it.
Yeah, that was one to go into the account.
Yep. You can start at 2 Samuel 18:1.
You worried?
Yeah, I read it.
And this is the reason why we go into this is because there's a specific scene that takes place in this chapter that shows a man of his integrity to what King David said. All right. So you can go ahead and start the talk.
The 2 Samuel 18:1. It says, and David numbered the people that were with him and set captains of thousands, and captains of hundreds over them. And David sent forth a third part of the people under the hand of Joab, and a third part under the hand of Abishai, and the son of Zeruiah, Joab's brother, and a third part under the hand of Itate, the Gittite. And the king said unto the people, I will surely go forth with you myself also.
Right. So David right now is numbering his army, his military, and he set captains over thousands, he set captains over hundreds, but within the whole military. He gave a third unto Joab, he gave a third unto Abishai, and he gave a third of the military unto Ittai. All right. So go ahead.
Verse 3. But the people answered, Thou shalt not go forth, for if we flee away, they will not care for us. Neither if half of us die, will they care for us. But now thou art worth 10,000 of us. Therefore now it is better that thou secure us out of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And the king said unto them, What seemeth you best will I do? And the king stood by the gate side, and all the people came out by hundreds and by thousands.
All right, so the king, King David, fell back, because King David was gonna go out there with him, So they pretty much was like what the people answered: Thou shalt not go forth, for if we flee away, they would not care about us. They ain't gonna care about us if we flee away.
Mm-hmm.
It says neither if half of us die will they care for us. But now thou art worth 10,000 of us.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to fall back. We can go out here and go handle. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And the king commanded Joab and Abishai and Ittai, saying,
This is a key point. This is a very important point to the chapter. So go ahead and read that again. I'm sorry.
It says, And the king commanded Joab and Abishai and Ittai, saying, Deal gently for my sake with the young man, even with Absalom. And all the people heard when the king gave all the captives charge concerning Absalom.
Right. So King David specifically told the people, look, but when it comes to Absalom, deal gently with him. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get that word. I'm just gonna get that word gently. Real quick, do you have something else?
I have the word command.
Go ahead.
I think command is tazawah. And it means to command, charge, give orders, lay charge, give charge to, or order. It says lay charge upon. It says to give charge to. It says to appoint. It says to ordain. All right. So let's keep going. In the Strong's definition, it says to a primitive root to constitute, enjoin, appoint, bid. Okay. Or how should I bid to the marriage? It says send a messenger, put, and it says put in order. Okay, so this was a strict order and ordinance, all right, that was ordained by King David, the anointed, to not do this. To do this. Go ahead.
Kind of. And that word gently is Strong's H328, which is at, which means gentleness, softness, gently. Okay, let's see what it says here. It says use of acting and speaking, deal gently for me with my youth. A gentle going, a gentle flow, a gentle mode of acting. Okay, so the word itself, it is what it is. I
got the etymology for gentle.
Go ahead.
It says well born. It says of noble rank or family. What was Absalom?
He was of David's lineage.
It said highborn. It says worthy, noble, of good family, courageous, valiant, fine, good, fair. It says nice, graceful, pleasing, fine, or pretty. It says of the same family or clan. There's a reason why David is like deal gently with him. This is my son. This is my highborn. This is my noble prince, pretty much is what he's saying. Deal gently with him, which means nice or graceful. All right, you got it.
You can continue.
This verse, I'll read verse 5 again. It says, And the king commanded Joab and Abishai and Ittai, saying, to deal gently for my sake with the young man, even with Absalom and all the people. And all the people heard when the king gave all the captains charge concerning Absalom.
So everybody heard it. They deal gently with him. Even Joab did. Joab, Abishai, and Ittai did, man. Everybody heard that what King David said. It says that that's what it says, and all the people heard when the king gave the captain's charge over this command.
Yeah.
You know, go ahead.
Verse 6. So the people went out into the field against Israel, and the battle was in the wood of Ephraim.
All right, so it was a civil war, pretty much, that was breaking out within the land of Israel and the tribes within themselves. You had a civil war between Judah, Benjamin, you know, and within the whole tribes in its entirety. You got to remember, whenever King David came on the scene, he had all the tribes. He joined pretty much all the tribes joined together.
Yeah.
You know, but at this time, you have a civil war that's pretty much breaking out within the nation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, can you get that precept in Sirach 10?
Oh yeah.
Real quick, just to kind of go based off of how what's going on with the king is going to be the same with the same that goes on with the people. You know what I'm saying?
God, this is Ecclesiasticus 10 or Sirach 10:2. I'll start at 1.
Mm-hmm.
It says, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered.
Government of a prudent man is well ordered. Now, not to say that King David wasn't prudent or anything like that. This had to happen for prophecy's sake. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is the one that orchestrated this to take place. You know? Go ahead.
Con. It says, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers.
Mm-hmm.
And what manner of man the ruler of the city is,
Mm-hmm.
such are all they that dwell therein.
Such are all they that dwell therein. There was a lot of chaos that was going on within Israel at that time, and within King David and his household.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you had his son that was about to come up against him. You know, and I want to say that was prophesied that was going to happen. Like his son would sleep with his wives and before his eyes.
What was that when he went off with with Uriah's wife?
That might
what Nathan was saying to him.
That might be it. That might be it.
I'm gonna go to verse 3 real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
It says verse 3. It says an unwise king destroyeth his people,
Mm-hmm.
but through the prudence, which is wisdom, or wise,
Mm-hmm.
of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Now, I don't want to spoil what we're going through right now, but it goes. We can put that in today's light. Everything is discombobulated and disorderly.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows what the hell's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But order out of chaos. Now, according verse 4, it says the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. And that is that prudent one that's going to be put in authority to set things straight. Then everything will be a yay or nay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Everything will be very comprehensible and understandable. Therefore, the people will be the same way of whoever's ruling. We're righteous. Everybody's going to strive to be just like that. All Israel is going to be righteous, but even so, the other heathens are going to want to keep the commandments as well.
Mm-hmm.
Proverbs 29:2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, when the righteous and authority, the people rejoice.
Mm-hmm.
That's not just the people of Israel. It's
Everybody.
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 Elam, Moab, all them.
Esau.
Minus Esau, I'll be real. They gonna hate it. Because they still gonna try to buck up.
Well,
Because in
yeah,
Court of Revelation 9, they ain't gonna repent.
Yeah.
They still not
They still gonna be
up.
proud. They still gonna buck up. But all these other nations are gonna love their captivity.
They're gonna flow into Israel.
Correct. According to Micah the 4th chapter.
Mm-hmm.
They all, because they're gonna be tributaries. You know? So it says again, it says an unwise king destroyeth his people. All right. And what was going on during this time of King David and his son Absalom?
Absalom declared himself to be the king.
There you go. What happened with Adonijah and Solomon?
Mm-hmm.
Adonijah declared himself to be a king. He even had Joab on his side.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So an unwise king destroyed the people and puts the people in disarray.
Mm-hmm.
Now is a civil war because the people have to pick and fucking choose.
Mm-hmm.
Like Absalom.
Yeah.
King David, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now that destroys an entire society, an entire kingdom, man.
Yeah.
You know, look at America.
Hey, what's the scripture say? I'll just get real fast. I know it's in Matthew 11. I gotta find it. I think it's Matthew 11. And
what did it say?
The kingdom divided against itself shall not stand.
You can't.
The kind of, if I can expound on what you were saying.
Yeah, you got it right.
Yeah, the brother said, look at America. You know, you have Jake out here and knowing that Israelites, they still follow Esau ways, you know. Okay, I'm gonna go, you know, as far as us, Lord, will we be a part of that number? We chose the right ways of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And Lord, will we can continue to do that? But you know, that just lets you know that we need Yahushua to come back so he can set that righteous order. You know. So the whole world's gonna be in cahoots, man. You know. And we're gonna be able to utilize the spirits, you know, to our willing, to our likeness, and everything's just gonna be on order and righteousness.
There's gonna be no indecisiveness.
Nope.
You know, everything's gonna be set straight and in order. This is the way it is, or if not, I'm just gonna take the spirit out your vessel.
The house of David is gonna be established. You know, the house of David is gonna be established, and the breaches will be closed. Like the scripture says. Go ahead.
Matthew 12:25, it says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts, and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
See, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. You know, and that's what was going on during the time of King David and Absalom. The kingdom of Israel at this time was brought to desolation internally for a period of time because it was divided. And Esau knows that once he can divide our people from who they are, divide and conquer. He did, and he's done that with the planet Earth. He'll get people to divide against themselves, and what does he do? He'll conquer them at the end of the day. You know, that's how he gains the planet Earth. But that's going to be to his own downfall too, because now within Esau's system, you have Democrat and Republicans. You have issues going on over here in America, issues going on in the EU and NATO and Brexit and all sort of kind of stuff. It's not going to. That means that his kingdom won't stand.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, because Yahushua said it, and plus you've seen various different kingdoms that's had different divisions and infightings that's been taking place and it's been brought down.
Yeah, that was the cause of that problem.
Yeah.
You remember we were speaking earlier about the families. You know what I'm saying? It was like, man, that's why you see Jake now and the families is always some type of contention and strife in between because there's a division. Even when we was talking about the Hasmoneans with John Hyrcanus and all that,
was a division.
What came out of them? This Pharisees and Sadducees. A division. It's two sides. When a family should be like-minded and one, which Paul pushes a lot in the book of Philippians. Unity. All right.
Let there be no division among you.
There you go. No schisms. First Corinthians 12.
That's right.
That's right. So it says, Matthew 12:25, it says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
And every city and house divided against itself shall not stand. And you had David came out of the house of Judah, or the tribe of Judah. You know, in which I don't want to spoil it, like the brother said, but we'll actually hold that scripture back when they can pull it out later because it's going to come in.
What, Matthew 12?
Yeah, we'll just bring it out again later one more time just to kind of hammer the point in. But, you know, the spirit had to come out right now too. You know what I'm saying? But you're going to see why that scripture came out as we read this account in 2 Samuel 18. Did you have more? Or did you have any other precepts? Hey, if I say if y'all got precepts and stuff like that, you can bring them up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh God. I had one in Proverbs to bring it up.
Yeah, go ahead.
This Proverbs 29:12 says, if a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked.
If a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked. And didn't Absalom didn't he have some I forgot the exact word that it used, but he pretty much got him out base men to be pretty much to spy out Israel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, matter of fact,
Was it Benio? Like, I think I know what you're talking about.
it was like he.
It started with a B.
Nah, it was men of the baser sort. I want to say that's what the scripture says. Baser sort. Nah. Well, I mean you had the scribes and the Pharisees that did that too. But let me see if I can find it real quick here. 2 Samuel. Spies. If I can't find it, it's all good. Well, here we go. Actually, that's the spirit calling me. 2 Samuel 15, and let me actually get in here just to kind of just hit that point of the scripture that you just read. This is 2 Samuel 15 and 10. It says, but Absalom sent spies throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, as soon as ye hear the sound of the trumpet, then ye shall say, Absalom reigneth in Hebron.
Mm.
And then it says, and with Absalom went 200 men out of Jerusalem that were called or invited, and they went in their simplicity, and they knew not anything. So he just had just a bunch of men that was just hearkening unto his lies, and they just walking around with him, just hey, but you know what I'm saying?
It said walking in their simplicity.
Yeah, walking in their simplicity,
Mm-hmm.
just being simple-minded, Jake.
Yeah,
you know. Well, can you read that precept one more time?
Proverbs 20, Proverbs 29 and 12. If a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked.
If a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants is wicked.
Mm-hmm.
So those that were walking with Absalom and trying to be with him, trying to raise him up to be the king, were ultimately wicked.
Yeah.
You know. But we can continue in 2 Samuel if anybody else wants anything.
Yeah. This is verse 7. It says, where the people of Israel were slain before the service of David, and there was a great slaughter that day of 20,000 men.
Mm-hmm.
For the battle was there scattered over the face of all the country, and the wood devoured more people that day than the sword devoured.
Mm-hmm.
And Absalom met the servants of David, and Absalom rode upon the mule, and the mule went under the thick boughs of a great oak, and his head caught hold of the oak, and was taken up between the heaven and the earth, and the mule that was under him went away.
Right. So pretty much what it was is that his head or his hair got caught in a tree. You know, I'm gonna read this real quick. 2 Samuel 14, and I'm gonna read verse 25 and 26. But in all Israel there was none to be so much praised as Absalom for his beauty.
Mm-hmm.
For the sole of his foot, even to the crown of his head, there was no blemish in him. So he was a handsome, good-looking dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He pretty much, it was a dude who he had.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And when he polled his head, which another word for poll is to cut your hair. When he polled his head, for it was at every year's end that he polled it every year, because the hair was heavy on him, therefore he polled it.
Mm.
He weighed the hair of his head at 200 shekels after the king's weight. So he had a lot of hair on his head. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he had to cut it at the end of every year.
At the end of every year, he had to poll his hair. So his hair got caught in a bow of a tree as he was riding on the mule. So you can imagine he riding on the mule, his hair get caught, and the mule just keep running.
Yeah,
he's stuck.
I didn't even know.
You know what I mean?
Shit had to hurt too.
No, I had shit. I had to. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And a certain man saw it and told Joab, he said,
you can start breaking it down at this part because we're going into integrity.
Okay, come on.
Verse 10. And a certain man saw it and told Joab and said, behold, I saw Absalom hanging in an oak. And Joab said unto the man that told him, and behold, thou sawest him, and why didst thou not smite him there to the ground?
Right, so reread that.
Verse 11. And Joab said unto the man that told him, and behold, thou sawest him, and why didst thou not smite him there to the ground?
So Joab was in the sense of, okay, and you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, and why didn't you do anything, man? Like, what the fuck wrong with you, man? He's the opposite side. He's the opposing force that's coming against King David, right? Kill him. All right, go ahead.
And I would have given thee 10 shekels of silver and a girdle.
10 shekels of silver and a girdle, like a girdle getting put in a higher position or rank. And the 10 shekels of silver, like it's a bribe. I'm getting you money for committing this act of killing Absalom. That's almost like making that individual a mercenary. Or a hitman. All right. That's not what that's not what the deal is at this moment. You know what I'm saying? Can we get that Proverbs 11 that you have quoted earlier? 11:3.
Yep, I'll get it right.
And then read to 4 too.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 3. And it says the integrity of the upright shall guide them. I'm sorry, 2. Actually, it says, when pride cometh, then cometh shame.
When pride cometh, then cometh shame. All right. Again, I don't want to spoil what's about to happen, but Joab had a level of pride. Okay, I'm not gonna spoil what happened in this account, but when you go to another account, and when we speak earlier in 1 Kings, the 2nd chapter, on King David's pretty much deathbed, he was given Solomon instructions and commandments, and he mentioned Moab.
Or Joab.
Oh, he mentioned Joab. So lucky. Shit, Moab.
Moab is my watch spot.
But like he mentioned Joab. All right. He mentioned Joab, meaning Joab wasn't going to get scot clean, get away scot clean because of the atrocities that he did, committing by his prideful actions. Okay, by his prideful actions. Who else can you put in the lot of being over prideful? Judas Iscariot, which turns into an overzealousness. It's the same thing Joab was practicing right now. Go ahead, bro.
Proverbs 11:2. When pride cometh, then cometh shame.
When pride cometh, then cometh shame. 1 Kings, the shame came on Joab. Okay, and that pride, it seeps in very secretly and privily. You got it, bro.
It says, but with the lowly is wisdom.
With the lowly is wisdom, man. Okay, and who's practicing this prudence right now in this very account? The individual who came to Joab saying, "I saw Absalom hanged in the oak."
One of the servants of David.
One of the servants, Ibad. Okay,
the house of David.
One of the Ibadim of Dawadah. Malak Dawadah. Go ahead, brother.
The integrity of the upright shall guide them.
The integrity of the upright shall guide them. We understand now because we got the etymology of integrity, which means the character. His character guided him correctly. Making him blameless and innocent. All right, go ahead, bro.
It says, but the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them.
But the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them. Transgression is a sin. Okay, an act that is ugly to the Lord, man. It's rebelliousness.
Unfaithful,
bro. What does the scripture say, Zechariah and Sirach too? Woe
unto you that have lost patience.
The water, bro. Woe unto you who have lost patience, man. That's being unfaithful.
Yeah.
You lost your faith. You lost your patience. All right, go ahead, bro.
Riches profit not in the day of wrath.
Riches profit not in the day of wrath. But when you go to 1 Kings, the 2nd chapter, ain't nothing Joab could do from getting his, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing could stop him. Nothing. And that's the same thing that this soldier or this servant of David understood when he was bribed with the shekels of silver.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, man, that shit ain't gonna do nothing for me.
Right.
So go ahead, Karatazar.
I'm gonna read this last part. It
Okay,
says, but
yeah,
righteousness, no, you good. But righteousness delivereth from death.
But righteousness delivered from death, and that's exactly what this individual is going to be delivered from.
Mm-hmm.
If you go against the king, you're going against the Lord's anointed. The Lord's going to touch you.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? But his integrity kept him alive. Or his character. Now he's innocent.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
If I can say too, he was a just man. He was practicing being a just man.
Correct.
You know, being upright and being righteous.
That's
You know.
Yep. Having his character too, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his character was good because he didn't transgress the commandment of the king.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
God.
That's in order. Go ahead, bro. In second Samuel.
Verse 12. And the man said unto Joab, though I should receive 1,000 shekels of silver in my hand, yet would I not put forth my hand against the king's son.
All right, so hold that. He said, you offer me 10. Shit, you can offer me 1,000. And I still ain't about to do it, man.
Yeah.
All right, keep reading.
It says, for in our hearing, the king charged thee and Abishai and Ittai, saying, beware that none touch the young man Absalom.
Correct. That's why the brother earlier, Tazamah, went into the word gentle. When we first read the script. And when you go in, and I brought out the etymology of the word gentle, it means a highborn. We are not to touch the hierarchy of the lineage of David right now, man. You know what I'm saying? We're and also gentle goes into being kind and peace and at peace, not really at peace, but peace, dealing gently or mercifully, you could say, to an individual. So why would you try to bribe me into doing this filthy act that you're trying to get me to do? He held his integrity right here. He didn't care about the amount of money. He didn't care about the position he would have got.
Yeah.
He didn't care about nothing. Keep reading, bro.
Actually, let me read this real quick.
Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 28, verse 20. A faithful man shall abound with blessings, but he that maketh haste to be rich shall not be innocent.
There you go. He that maketh haste to be rich shall not be made innocent.
Yep.
All right. Even when you look into the society, what do you have to do to become rich? Compromise your integrity.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? You have to bypass your integrity, bypass your morals.
What is an abominable act?
Exactly.
A filthy act.
It's a filthy act. You have to defile your conscience purposely. All right? That's what selling your soul is.
Yeah.
There's no amount of money that can buy that back either. That's why you see these rappers and these entertainers, they always got the black shades on.
Yeah.
They get all these tattoos and they smoking all this weed and doing all these dang drugs. They're trying to cloud out their mind from what they had to do in order to get that.
Exactly.
And just imagine if that man, that servant, would have took that money and killed him.
He wouldn't have enjoyed it.
Nah.
Well, you got to think. I mentioned Judas Iscariot. He took the money and relinquished Yahushai's position to the wicked scribes and Pharisees, Sadducees and Pharisees and whatnot, and ultimately got, it was prophecy, but ultimately got Yahushai on the cross.
That's right.
But what happened in the first book of Acts, the first chapter of Acts, Salakia? He felt super guilty. He couldn't live with it.
His conscience was condemning.
His conscience was condemning. It was seared with a hot iron, like the scriptures say. You see what I'm saying? And ultimately hanging himself, and it got split open by the bowels, man. Got cut in half.
I have a precept.
Go ahead.
It's Proverbs, because we're speaking on a topic of basically, selling your soul for money or, for vain things. Proverbs 19:1 says, better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips and is a fool.
Man, read that again.
Proverbs 19:1. Better is the poor that walketh in his integrity
Mm-hmm.
than he that is perverse in his lips and is a fool.
Better is a poor that walketh in his integrity rather than he that is perverse.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it?
In his
Really
lips.
perverse in his lips, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can read verse 13 in 2 Samuel 18, verse 13.
2 Samuel 18 and 13. Otherwise, I should have wrought falsehood against my own life.
Right, I would have dealt falsely against my own life if that was the case. If I would have killed,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
For there is no manner hid from the king, and thou thyself wouldest have set thyself against me.
So if there's no matter that's going to be hid from the king, it would have been known that I was the one that killed Absalom when he told me not to. Then you would have messed around and set yourself against me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you telling me you mad at me because I didn't kill Absalom, but if I was to do it, man, you would have been coming up against me trying to kill me.
Hey,
King David would have put an order out for me to die. You would have probably been the one to come out here and execute the order.
it wouldn't just be him that died; his whole family would have died.
Yeah.
He would have wiped out his whole family. You got in what does it say in the book of Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach? It says it is better to slip and fall on pavement than slip with the tongue.
Mm.
All right. So he would slip with the tongue and say, "Yeah, I'll take it, bruh. You in for a rude awakening by King David."
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that in verse 13 also shows you a sign of discernment.
Mm-hmm.
That servant of
He already
David
knew.
that he exactly.
Yeah.
He already knew Joab wasn't up to no good.
Mm-hmm.
He had spirits on him.
Yeah.
He knew if he would have done this, that Joab would have ratted him out.
Mm-hmm.
He already knew. He saw 10 steps ahead of Joab. Like, bro, I ain't that stupid, bro. You know, you can keep going.
I got something real quick.
Come on, go ahead, bro.
Proverbs chapter.
We in that problem.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get two of them in Proverbs.
Come.
Proverbs 16 and 14. The wrath of the king is as messengers of death.
Mm.
It says as messengers of death, right? As.
Mm-hmm.
That's
A wise king. The wrath of the king is as messengers of death.
That's something called a simile.
Mm-hmm.
All right, these scriptures are poetry, baby.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's something that's called a simile, like or as something. Messengers of death, which is like an angel.
Yeah, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, is the king, and his messengers of death is the angels. And whenever he needs something executed done, the angels go out there and they do,
And they execute.
and they execute.
And real talk, when you look up King David's mighty men, they doing things like in one swipe slaying 800 people.
He had people that was executioners.
Easy money, man.
You know, it says, but a wise man will pacify it. A wise man is going to pacify the wrath of the king.
Mm.
And that's exactly what the servant did. He was pacifying the wrath of King David by not going off.
Yes.
What did King David do to Saul? Pacify, play
Yeah.
the harp.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
King David was a wise individual.
Mm-hmm.
You got it, bro.
Proverbs 19 and 12. The king's wrath is as the roaring of a lion,
Mm.
but his favor is as dew upon the grass.
Come on.
Mm.
You know?
It's that servant knew what would happen to him if he would have killed Absalom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he knew the wrath that King David would come with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure he understood when Saul and David came back. They said Saul killed thousands, but David tens of thousands. I'm pretty sure he heard that.
Yeah, kind
So why, bro?
of.
Why, Joab? You know, did anyone you got something?
Wow. I have a point though,
Go ahead.
because that's why the scriptures constantly say have a pure conscience, have a pure mind too.
To the pure, all things are pure.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I got that. I do have that.
Titus 1:15.
Yep. Okay. This is Titus 1 and verse 15. Unto the pure, all things are pure.
To heart.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure.
Mm-hmm.
But even their mind and conscience is defiled. In that case, he didn't have a defiled mind. You know, he knew.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was like, nah, bro, I'm gonna keep my mind undefiled. Because my mind was defiled.
Yeah.
I would have did what you wanted me to do and still die.
And that's why the
Yeah.
scriptures tell us, roughly paraphrasing, to continue in the things in which thou were taught.
Kind of, yeah.
Right.
And then also, I remember way back then, we went into a lesson basically having a regal mindset.
Yeah.
You know, he was using wisdom. You know, he had a regal mindset. He wasn't walking in the path of, hey, like a carnal mind or losing his integrity and whatnot. You know, he kept that regal mindset. He was using wisdom. Of course, he was using, you know, discernment. Yeah, man. So he's like, nah, man. You know, I'm gonna just stay in order and do my, you know, according to my spirit, basically. He had a clear conscience, you know, which is his law, man.
That's right.
It wasn't undefiled.
That's just right.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
Continue inside.
Yeah. Verse 14.
Verse 14. Then said Joab, I may not tarry thus with thee.
Joab would be an asshole. He's like, man, I gotta talk to you.
And he took 3 darts in his hand and thrust them through the heart of Absalom while he was yet alive in the midst of the oak.
So Joab pretty much took matters into his own hands. Like, man, fuck it. I ain't finna worry about you, man. I ain't gonna even listen to what you're saying, man. Took 3 spears and just killed Absalom. Just killed him. You know, after we read in verse 5, King David said, deal gently with him. You know, go ahead.
It says, verse 15, and the 10 young men that bare Joab's armor compassed about and smote Absalom and slew him.
So Joab's armor bearers that circled around him and stabbing Absalom. Just probably, you know, stabbing him, killing him. You know, go ahead.
Verse 16, and Joab blew the trumpet, and the people returned from pursuing after Israel, for Joab held back the people. And they took Absalom, and cast him into a great pit in the wood, and laid a very great heap of stones upon him, and all Israel fled every one to his tent.
So they didn't even bury him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they buried him and they just threw some rocks over top of him.
Yeah.
You know, I just, well, you know, we're gonna kill him. We're gonna throw him in this pit. We're gonna, you know, cover, put some rocks over him real quick.
I had a quick precept.
You got it.
Because it said Joab, like Tazamani said, he took matter into his own hands. And he already knew the hearing. He heard it from David, then he heard it again from David's servant.
Yeah.
So he heard it twice, vividly. So this is Hebrews chapter 10, verse 26. It says, for if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of truth. So he heard what the hell was to go down. He knew what was supposed to go down. So it says, for if I'm applying this scripture to this, okay? So if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins. He right there, when he made this decision, he became, his integrity was lost and he's not blameless anymore.
Yeah.
He is to blame now. All right. And there's no more sacrifice for sins. It says, but a certain fearful looking for the judgment of the fiery indignation, like you read in Proverbs. The wrath of the king is like the messengers.
Yeah, the wrath of the king is as messengers of death.
Is as messengers of death, which is that fiery indignation. But we understand this is more pertaining to our walk now. You know what I'm saying? In Hebrews 10. But I'm applying this. It says, which shall devour the adversaries.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
You got it.
That's true. Yeah, I just kind of find it spiritual because, like, even in the law, you know, like it tells you in Deuteronomy 20th chapter how if you have a stubborn and rebellious child, you're supposed to stone him.
Yeah.
And I just read that in verse 17 how they threw him in a pit and they laid a very great heap of stones upon him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, they pretty much, he was already dead, but it's like they threw great heaps of stones over top of him. But he was stubborn and rebellious. He was a stubborn and rebellious son.
God.
You know, I found that.
Yeah, that's true though.
Very symbolic.
Go ahead.
Verse 17. 18. It says, now Absalom in his lifetime had taken and reared up for himself a pillar which is in the king's dale, for he said, I have no son to keep my name in remembrance. And he called the pillar after his own name, and it is called unto this day Absalom's place.
Mm-hmm.
That the point.
Yeah, because it kind of just goes into like King David mourning after Absalom's death, and Joab continued. And Joab like cursed out King David real hard in the next chapter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's pretty much like, man, get up. You know what I'm saying? Like your son's over here trying to kill you, and you're over here crying. And but you over here acting like he wasn't just trying to kill you, man. Who you for? Are you for him? Or if he would have died, would you not been upset? You know. But the point being is that, you know, the basis of this lesson was we wanted to get the account here and show you the integrity of that young man, which was the servant of David, which is of the house of David.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of his men that was with him, serving by him, that showed his integrity of following the commandment of the king.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and with that integrity, man, it goes a long way. You know, in this walk in this truth, you know, we have to make sure that we're holding up to the level of integrity that Yahweh Shemel Shai commands of us.
That's right.
You know, and not compromising to the ways of this world, not compromising to the comforts of this place, not compromising to, you know, what Esau may say or may try to give you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not compromising any of that. That's not like you read, riches shall not profit you in the day. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why he was like, man, look, you could have gave me 10,000 talents of silver, man. I still wouldn't have did it.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, that's all that I had.
Yeah,
Hey, so with that, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Rakakodash.
Double honors to our apostles and our elders of Great Mills and the Torch of Truth. And much peace, love, and salutation to the elect Akim scattered across the four corners of the earth, pushing this word with all truth and sincerity. Shalom.
Shalom.
Bring that up,